ये कहने में बिल्कुल गुरेज नहीं है। ये हिंदुस्तान है, हिंदुस्तान में रहने वाला बहुसंख्यक के अनुसार ही देश चले।
A perfect Sunday morning when most of us are snuggled up in bed, sipping chai or scrolling endlessly through reels, Justice Shekhar Kumar Yadav decided to take the mic and deliver. Well, let's call it a sermon with a judgment. But hold on, this was not your regular court session. No, this was the regional convention of the VHP's legal cell in Prayagraj. Full crowd, full energy and full opinions on the Uniform Civil Code. So here's the setup. On the left, you've got the Vishwa Hindu Parishad organizing what we might call their Sunday blockbuster. And on the right, you've got Justice Shekhar Kumar Yadav commanding the stage like it's prime time, with his views on religion and the Uniform Civil Code. The result? A speech so fiery it left the entire country scratching their heads and wondering, is this a courtroom ruling, a Sunday keynote, or an unexpected moral science lesson? Now don't get me wrong, freedom of speech is a wonderful thing. But when a judge swaps his courtroom for a Sunday stage and starts sharing extracurricular thoughts on Hindus, other religions and everything in between, things get tricky. You see, this was not a satsang and it definitely wasn't part of any judgment script. But it did catch everyone's attention faster than breaking news of a cricket match. So what exactly happens when a judge's words spark a nationwide controversy? How does a Sunday speech lead to questions about judicial accountability? And most importantly, how can a judge be impeached or removed in India? Don't worry, this legal roller coaster is just getting started. Buckle up because the answers are about to drop. अब आते हैं असली point पे, the big question. How exactly do you fire a judge? I mean, it's not like you can just knock on their door, say, Bhaiya, aapka time khatam ho gaya, and hand them a pink slip. No, our constitution ensures it's far more complicated because firing judges in India is no less than an IPL final, dramatic and full of twists. The constitution has given us a process, but this process is not that easy. Forget Judge Sahib packing their bags overnight. This removal process has more levels than Candy Crush Saga. The removal process is so rare, it makes Halley's Comet look punctual. Seriously, this tool exists, but it's used as often as our New Year resolutions. क्या कभी किसी जज को सच में घर भेजा गया? Short answer, नहीं. Long answer, we tried. I mean, we really tried on multiple occasions. To understand this better, let's break it down. The removal of a judge is not just difficult, it's borderline legendary. The process is laid out in Article 124 Clause 4 of the Constitution and a parliamentary law under Clause 5 of the same article, Judges Inquiry Act 1968. Also, the removal of the High Court judges is done in the same manner as per Article 217 Clause 1 Subclause B. And you thought cracking UPSC was tough. Try removing a judge. This is the real Aakhri Sawal level stuff. Here we are, staring at Article 124 Clause 4 and Clause 5, the OG rulebook for firing judges in India. Don't let this plain text fool you. It packs more drama than a daily soap opera. See these two phrases? Proved misbehavior and incapacity. These are the only official reasons you can remove a judge. Basically, if a judge misbehaves, like skipping work, throwing courtroom tantrums, or holding Sunday sermons, they might be in trouble. Now, on a serious note, even though these words have not been defined in the Constitution, Supreme Court has tried to explain what misbehavior means. Like in the C. Ravichandran Iyer case 1995, where the Apex Court explained that misconduct would amount to any such behavior which undermines the integrity and the independence of a judge or judiciary. Such behavior would include corruption, sexual harassment, financial misconduct, etc. In another judgment of 1992, M. Krishnaswamy case, the court had also clarified what misbehavior means. Willful abuse of judicial office, willful misconduct in the office, corruption, lack of integrity, or any other offense involving moral turpitude would be misbehavior. Judicial finding of guilt of grave crime is misconduct. persistent failure to perform judicial duties of the judge or willful abuse of the office would be misbehavior. Misbehavior would extend to conduct of the judge in or beyond the execution of judicial office. Not just this, the court went on to state that the holder of the office of the Judge of Supreme Court or the High Court should therefore be above the conduct of ordinary mortals in the society. Yes, such claims are required to be backed by credible evidence. As for incapacity, it means when the judge is unable to discharge his duties due to physical or mental challenges. Well, let's just say it's the polite way of saying,
How much, Pagal?
Very much, Pagal.
But hold on, Article 124 Clause 4 is just the trailer. The real action happens in the Judges Inquiry Act 1968 and the rules of 1969. This is where the Constitution hands over the popcorn and says, here, follow this step-by-step guide to actually getting the job done. Think of the Judges Inquiry Act as the rule book for firing judges, the advanced edition. It spells out the entire procedure step by step in painful legal detail, like a recipe for cooking up accountability with an extra garnish of political debates. Step 1. Collecting signatures. You need at least 100 MPs in Lok Sabha or 50 MPs in Rajya Sabha to sign a motion. That's a pretty big number. And then you submit this petition to the presiding officer. Basically Om Birla in Lok Sabha or Jagdeep Dhankar in Rajya Sabha. Think of them as the bouncers of the Parliament Club. They decide whether the motion gets inside or gets rejected at the gate. Now comes the role of the presiding officer. He can either accept the motion or reject it. If the presiding officer rejects the motion, the matter ends then and there.
Khatam.
Justice Deepak Mishra's case in 2018 is a classic example. Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu just looked at the motion and said, "Not happening today, buddy," and poof, rejected. End of controversy before it even began. But what happens when you actually start the removal process? Enter our Judges Inquiry Committee, the judicial avengers who investigate the charges. Who are they? Why are they important? Let's find out in the next section. Now things get serious. We call in the Judges Inquiry Committee, the avengers of the judicial world, minus of course the costumes. The team has, number 1, the Chief Justice of India or any senior Supreme Court judge nominated by the CJI. The Chief Justice of India is generally the first choice to serve on the committee. If the Chief Justice cannot or chooses not to participate, they nominate a senior-most judge of the Supreme Court. Second one, the Chief Justice of a High Court. Again chosen by the CJI because why let anyone else decide? But also the administrative and judicial experience of the High Court Chief Justice matters. Their impartiality, their integrity and track record in upholding the Constitution counts, and typically a Chief Justice with a clean reputation and senior standing is preferred to ensure no conflict of interest. And the wild card, number 3, an eminent jurist. Who is an eminent jurist, you ask? It could be a famous law professor, a legal expert, or anyone who has been around law books longer than you've been on Instagram. And let's be honest, sometimes my students think I'm a jurist too. Because clearly, teaching polity for years makes you the Shashi Tharoor of legal knowledge. Anyway, for example, in the case of removal of Justice V. Ramaswamy in 1993, the 3-member committee included Justice P.B. Sawant, the integrity-driven sitting Supreme Court judge at the time, Justice P.D. Desai, eminent Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court, and the legal powerhouse N.N. Vohra, the then Defence Secretary, later on the Governor of J&K for around a decade from 2008 to 2018. Basically, this was the A-team of accountability back in the day. So what does this committee do? It investigates the allegations like a CID episode, but with of course more legal jargon. They look into the allegations of misbehavior or incapacity and prepare a report accordingly. Once they are done, they send their findings, guilty or not guilty, to the presiding officer. And then the real game begins. Just to clarify, if the report says not guilty, that's it, game over. The judge dusts off the allegations, grabs a cup of chai and goes back to living his best judicial life. But if the report says guilty, oh boy, buckle up. Because we are moving to the next stage of this legal roller coaster. Time for the big vote. MPs in both houses need to pass the motion with a special majority, meaning at least 2/3 of those present and voting and more than half the total membership of the house. Sounds intense, right? If the motion survives in one house, it gets sent to the other house. Finally, if both houses agree, the motion lands on the president's desk, who must give assent within the same session. One signature later, boom, the judge is officially out. It's rare, but when it happens, history gets made. And there you have it, folks, the full removal saga. Since we're already neck deep in the removal drama, why not take a quick stroll down memory lane and check out the great Indian impeachment story, where judges face the heat but the chair stays cool. Case 1. Justice V. Ramaswamy, the pioneer of impeachment drama in India. In 1993, he was charged with willful misuse of office and public funds while he was the Chief Justice in the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Or, as we say in layman terms, extravagant spending with someone else's wallet. By someone, we mean the taxpayers' money. But here's a twist. When the vote came to Lok Sabha, only 196 MPs showed up for the fire him camp. The Congress party walked out and the motion fell short of the magical 2/3 majority. Next, Justice Soumitra Sen from Calcutta High Court in 2011, famous for misappropriating funds as a court-appointed receiver. But here's where the plot fizzles. The inquiry committee report found him guilty. The voting began in the Rajya Sabha and was passed, but then Justice Sen pulled a classic exit move. He resigned before the Lok Sabha could even press the voting button. Smart, right?
क्या बात है सर? क्या बात है सर?
Justice S.K. Gangale, the Madhya Pradesh High Court judge, faced some serious charges. Sexual harassment allegations from an additional district judge. The case went through a full-blown inquiry committee, Supreme Court intervention, and more drama than the Big Boss house. In the end, Justice Gangale was cleared of the charges and the impeachment motion collapsed like a badly written case file. Justice J.B. Padiwala, now a sitting Supreme Court judge. Back in 2015, while dealing with a case, he made, let's call it spicy remarks, blaming reservation and corruption for India's progress woes. This lit a fire under 58 Rajya Sabha MPs who said, "Sir, we want impeachment." But Padiwala had the last laugh. His remarks were expunged from the order and the impeachment attempt quietly vanished into thin air. Finally, Justice C.V. Nagarjun Reddy of Andhra Pradesh Telangana High Court. This case was full of twists, allegations of misconduct, misbehavior with a Dalit judge, and mysterious income questions. Rajya Sabha MPs tried twice to impeach him, but both times it ended with a plot twist. Signatories withdrawing their support faster than a politician switching sides during elections. First attempt, 19 MPs backed out. Second time, 9 said bye-bye. Result, impeachment motion dead on arrival. So, to cut a long story short, removing judges in India has been a bit like RCB winning the IPL. Lots of hype, full of drama, massive build-up, and in the end, it just does not happen. We've had impeachment motions, inquiries, committee reports, and more suspense, but not a single judge has been successfully removed. Every impeachment feels like Parliament whispering, "Isala Judge Namde." And there you have it, Justice Shekhar Yadav, a man who managed to turn a Sunday morning speech into national headlines. From remarks that stirred controversy to the initiation of a removal motion, this case is like a courtroom thriller meets public debate forum.
कि मैं अगर हिंदू हूं तो मुझे अन्य धर्मों से कोई विभेद है या उनसे मैं इतर अपना कोई सोच रखता हूं.
To summarize what happened, Justice Shekhar Kumar Yadav kicked off his speech with the most safe and secular line possible. Just because I'm a Hindu, I don't hate any other religion. Very noble, very neutral, like someone handing you a cup of hot chocolate on a cold evening. But wait for it, because what followed was anything but neutral. The speech took a U-turn faster than an auto wale bhaiya on a no-entry lane. Suddenly, we had derogatory remarks flying, objectionable comments about certain religions and their practices. And voila, what started as a love-all, peace-all movement quickly escalated into a full-blown controversy, hotter than mirchi ka achar on a summer afternoon. And now, as expected, the removal process has been initiated, signed by 55 MPs in the Rajya Sabha, a process that is rare, dramatic, and politically charged. So, will it go all the way? Will Justice Yadav's name get etched in the history books of judicial removals? Or will this just fizzle out like a monsoon rain in Chennai? Loud at first, but gone before you know it. Well, that's a question only Parliament and the presiding officers can answer. So grab your popcorn because this courtroom saga is just getting started. In the meantime, I'll do what I do best. Watch, analyze and update you as the story unfolds. After all, this is democracy, my friends. There is never a dull moment. And that's it for this video. I'll see you soon with more updates, more insights, and of course, always remember, for the people, by the people, starts with the people. Step up. Jai Hind.